Okay, I'm gonna try to bleed my brakes here in a minute, and this is usually the way I do it since I'm doing most of what I do alone. Um, if you ever have to bleed your brakes by yourself, I think this is probably the easiest and most effective way to do it. So I'll start by telling you, you gotta bench bleed the master cylinder. What I did was I had 2 extra pieces of line that I just snipped off, and I put hose on them, kind of like this here. And I feed it, and I fill the bowls, and I feed the hose into the fluid so that it doesn't suck up any other air. And I basically go in and just pump the pedal until all the air bubbles are gone. At that point, I come take these off and hook the lines back up, and then I'll show you what I do after that. Okay, so I got the fluid in there. Let's see here. My line's submerged. Okay, I'm gonna give it a whirl. And again, I'm just pumping the brake pedal. So I got the majority of it. There's still a few little bubbles in there. I'm going to go ahead and pump a little bit longer. This one's got most of it out. And then this one here's got a few bubbles floating at the top. So I'll go just a little bit more, make sure I got them all out. And then I'll hook my lines up. Okay, no bubbles. So I think we're pretty good there. I'm going to go ahead and swap these lines with my actual brake lines now, and we'll start the bleeding process, and I'll show you how I do that as soon as I get this swapped over here. Okay, here we go. They're going to drip a little bit when you get these off. I've done this before and it didn't seem to matter. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move you to the back here. I'll show you what I do. I start at the farthest wheel, which is over here, and I'll set you up right here. Let's see if I can get a view of everything. And I'll get my little dealie. And the trick is to have a bottle like this, and you have your hose, and make sure your hose goes inside the bottle all the way into the fluid. It's got to be submerged, right? And then I have another hole in the cap, kind of like that. So the hose needs to be submerged in the fluid, and then let me go get my wrench so I can open the little deal there. So I usually try to put the wrench on first, like that, like so, and then I shove the clear tube over the opening here, which is not always the easiest thing to do. Okay, so then basically I just open it up open it up, and you'll see as I pump the pedal, it should just start pushing the bubbles out, but it won't suck up any more air because the end of this, it'll only push air out. It'll bubble up out of that fluid that's in the bottle here, and won't suck up any other air. It'll just keep pushing fluid out. So let's see if I got the hose on there good enough. We'll see if it works. So we're getting air now, we're starting to get fluid, and what I'll usually normally try to do is I'll go till this bottle's full just to make sure I got enough through the lines. We've got the bottle filled about halfway up. As you can see, it seems like pretty dirty fluid, but there's no air bubbles. And I think I'm gonna move on to the other tire for now, the other back tire, and just make sure I can get them all bled with the amount of fluid I have. I might go ahead and flush them later, but I'm going to close this one off, and basically all you do is close it off. You pull your tube out, and you move over to this other tire here, which we'll go ahead and do. Let's see if I can get set up here again. I think I'm on pretty good there. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. We'll try to put this right here so we can watch the fluid level. And let's give her another whirl. Okay, so that one actually went a lot better than the other one. I got fluid out a lot quicker. Might have been because I had the little bleeder open a little farther, or maybe there's a little blockage on the other side. I'm not sure yet, but that went really good. I'm going to close this side off, and we will move to the front. So pull that off. And since this bottle's about full, I'm gonna go ahead and empty it into a spare bottle I have here. Or not empty it all the way, but at least get rid of some of this fluid. That'll probably do. And we'll move on to the front. So we'll go ahead and do the passenger front first. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a good shot of this. Let me see if I can set you guys up here in a way that we can see it. Okay, so Let me get this set up here. So I can get this hose on here. Looks like we're pretty good there. So now what I'll do, open this bleeder up. And I think I'm gonna take my wrench out, open it just a little bit more. And I think we're good to go. So I'll start doing that. Okay, it looks like we're flowing pretty good there. So I'm gonna go a little more, make sure I got the bottle about half full, and see if that fluid clears up just a little bit more. Okay, so that went pretty well. The fluid's getting clear. I'm gonna go ahead and close this side up, and we'll move to the other side, which will be our last corner. And we should have brakes at that point. Oopsies. Okay. Let me pull this off, cap that, grab my bottle here, and we'll move over to that side. Let's get set up over here. Kind of a little bit of the same over on this side. See if we can get a good view here. It's right there. Okay. Set our bottle up down here in front of the camera. Not that you guys can see it, but I'll readjust here in a second. If we don't get a real good view on this side, but doing what I can. All right. Okay, well, let's go see if we can get this side bled. And every once in a while I keep adding to the bowl so it doesn't empty out, because if it did empty out, it would suck in air and it'd be starting all over again. So I just try to keep that bowl on the master cylinder full while I do this. Okay, I think I might be good. Check the level. Oh yeah, my bottle's pretty much full here. And I'll just top off the bowl. Not top off, but just make sure it's got enough in it. And I think that's it for the brakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this off before I forget. And we'll pull the hose off. And that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much it for bleeding the brakes by yourself. And literally the only thing I did, other than what you guys saw hooking up the tube to each wheel, was I would pump the brake pedal and watch the fluid level on the master cylinder and keep it topped off. And I would, as soon as there was literally no air bubbles coming out of the hoses, then I would go close it and move to the next wheel, and I'd move through all four. And just like that, you got brakes. You did it yourself, and it's very simple, very easy. Just with a little piece of clear tubing, an old bottle, with holes drilled in the lid and a little bit of brake fluid and a 3/8 wrench for my case for the bleeders, but that's literally it. I think that's probably the easiest, simplest way to do your brakes, to bleed your brakes. Until next time, where hopefully I'll be taking this thing for a spin, because I think with the brakes I'll be able to get going with this thing. But I hope to see you on the next episode, and we'll catch you then.